Up against Segler. From the stand start, Segler got over the top of him, got the tap down. Hawks trying to get into rhythm, but Scully upended. Viney always there to win the hard ball. Sky high back to the wing. Mitchell and Oliver tracked it all the way. Viney back on the scene. Wiedemann played his part in the chain, and that's what Melbourne try and do now. That wasn't the best of handballs from Petrarca. We saw Jackson out there. Oliver followed up. Kick smothered. Bruce takes it. Off half back. Now Warple. Ill-directed. Track down. Oh, Lever, that's a throw.
There's a poor kick going inside forward 50.
Jackson gets his chance in the ruck here. Outreached by Segler, but taken by Viney. Quick detour. Tosses it back to the top of the square. And Fritsch is... Surely that becomes 2 goals. It does. Melbourne strike the first blow at the start of the third quarter.
Realised there was no one there and just popped it up. Put a little bit of air into it just so if a player was in a position he had top. Here we see the Patton incident.
Oh, so maybe some
just underneath the chin,
yeah. O'Meara all had their part to play. Isaac lost it, gets it back. What was that? Patton, he's okay, which is good to know. Shields, and now the set-up kick from Wingard. That's finished off last year with his 200th game. 3-time premiership player. Gets the call of play on. Didn't seem to come perfectly off the boot. Melksham went for the mark of the pre-season. Barely made contact with anyone. But
and we're sorry, we've seen it a few times tonight. Players who take marks, who step off the line, so they're in control of the ball. They step off the line.
Off the pack, Patton tried to make the move. Viney. Oh, Lockhart. Captured by Scully.
Great tackle. It was just...
Tom Scully, you can see what's ahead of him. He can as well. Threads it straight through the middle.
Necessarily know how many games he'd play. This is the tackle.
Lewis, the big
pressure
boy.
From behind from Lewis. Bring a lot more. I'd want to have better efficiency around the ground.
Mitchell thought about it. And no, defences and so forth.
Absolutely. Even that play. Geez, turnover there
and costs them.
Oh, it was nearly a harsh lesson. Sorry.
Bounces back. McAvoy slaps it. Bruce. May didn't give an inch.
We'll see if they can make something of this.
Bruce, did he hang on long enough? Not according to the umpire, but Oscar was taken down by Wingard. Better watch out. Wingard is lurking. Lewis comes out. Little dump of the handball. Shields, and Scully's onto the end.
Forwards, and especially small forwards, do so well. He's played on here.
And he can slot another goal, Tom Scully.
And he's finished it, but instead of turning towards, he's taken his time to put his shirt on, Harmsy. Up to about 2 minutes.
So the game out really strongly against the Adelaide Crows. Yeah, the first half was always going to be hard work, but they backed their fitness in. This is what they've prided themselves on. Contest now.
Yeah, just up the ante a bit, haven't they, the Hawks? They lead by 4. Melbourne look to respond. Viney to Oliver. Jackson just got nudged under the ball that time. Frost shells out the handball. Sicily copped it. He got about a 7.20. And the umpire says that's okay.
Well, it's a 360, and then you have enough opportunity to get rid of the ball. So we see here.
Around he goes once.
360.
Around he goes twice.
It's holding the ball.
And now Tomlinson.
Better.
Yep, someone leading up. And someone is Fritsch. Oh, puts a lot of faith in Jackson. He did okay on the first attempt, and the follow-up was good. Neil Bullen was keen to hand it off. Spargo, I'm not sure what that quite was. Langdon has to track it back a long way. He was strong through the tackle to keep it bubbling for the D's. Harms, there's 3 Melbourne players calling for it. A 4th was Melksham. Cousins came flashing through your screen. Brayshaw tried to kick an ugly goal. Tucker knew exactly what to do next. Pump deep. At the back, Sicily. Neil Bullen, Jackson. Took some contact, play on the call. The hands were good. Fritsch has got it onto the boot in a flash.
Well, it's great.
And then it's on. Then you just, who can recover and who can get the ground ball best.
So sometimes there's a forward
Crocker to Brayshaw. There's depth on the kick. Harms runs at it. He's got it. Brushed off a couple. And again, we see Bedford back towards the top of the square.
50s, 2 goals.
And right on three-quarter time, Jake Melksham plays his part. Burgoyne. In the end, Haw cracks it out of there. Ball off on its own path going end on end. Clever from Melksham. Jackson played his part to Bedford. High ball. Jath out there and...
Hit back at the ball, but is he a really good one-on-one mark?
Very crafty. Very crafty. He doesn't look that big. You can see there he's not a big boy, but just... As I said earlier on in the call, he's just got that football smarts. He's just able to position his body in a position where he just gets his player either under it or over the back. The play up on the wing for me, the Jackson handball, the little tap before that, just opened the play right up.
So 3 goals, 3. His 7th scoring shot coming up. Should be another major, and it is. So Melbourne have been able to chain up 3 consecutive goals now to reassert their authority on the game.
So the reason that I asked the question is then you're thinking about matchups. So
kicks the Hawks back to the wing. Nicely taken by May, though. He can steady the ship a little bit. Hibbert off the left boot.
Hawthorn player down.
Bruised right ankle. He might have been.
Mearns, what can you see?
I think it's Lewis. I think it's Lewis, the big fella.
Sorry about that.
Right. Oh. Not good early signs as Jackson sends it high and long. Sicily kicked it out on the full.
Captain of the Hawthorn Football Club. That's my belief.
Well, here's Bedford. He'd love to make an impression to give the Melbourne selection panel something to think about into round 1. He's made a good impression.
Yeah, Hutto, look, obviously it happened right in front of us just here, and you just see the way he landed there, boys. We've all done that one. You really roll over. You hear the crunch of the ankle.
Again. And lost, and then you see Melbourne here.
Let's work through.
I think he just needs confidence. You know, he's a good player. He's got to believe in his ability.
He lost some confidence last year. It seemed that way.
I think so. I think, you know, he had such a good year. Both.
Tomlinson, the kicker here. Be a nice bit of confidence for him if he could land a goal. Play plenty of footy forward for the...
Just watch the big fella here, there. I don't think he was looking, was he?
And on the main scoreboard, the 20 points in front. Been a pretty low scoring affair, as we've talked about. Harms gets his opportunity.
Great disposal of the ball. That just invites more pressure, as we see Mitch Lewis there with the ice on the left ankle.
Got it. Did he hang it for too long in the air? Jath came late and
good effort
with style and shares it with Bruce. Opportunities galore for the Hawks. Burgoyne just stunted as he kicked it. Isaac had no legs, but he takes the mark. Been a while between goals for the Hawks, and that's the way it stays. Cousins. Let's see his capacity from 50. Well, distance wasn't a major issue. Rich. He's got Neil Bullen running. Instinctive handball was good. Had a quick glance internally. Kicks it back to the top of the square. Well,
and saw that he was owned all that space and just put it in there and allowed Melksham to lead onto it.
Just working out his approach here and what the various restrictions are. Enough to give him the room to put it through for another goal to the D's.
It was a much better kick from Lever because he wasn't going to go back to Sicily. Pulled the kick and Oliver just let him down with the mark.
Oh, Fritsch takes the intercept mark. Any forward would like that going into the season. And he's a beautiful free-flowing kick at his best. She has been tonight for a little while, but up to his 25th now. They all gather and beautifully snatched off the pack. Stratton gets back.
Whole game, but an opposition team coming down here may not be as intimidating as it once was.
So the siren sounds. The serious part of the pre-season is over for Melbourne and Hawthorn.